Hello, crafty friends. It's Amy. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Let's get started. This is such a cute little project, very easy to do. If I had gone and bought one of these wood rounds, and I think it was at Michael's, and then these cute little napkins. I'm going to show you in the description box as to where I got it. I couldn't resist this little squirrel with a little coffee cup. So this is, I'm just all eyeballing things to see how it fits. And a nice, easy way, once you've brought down your napkin down to the very first layer, you can go around it with a little water and a paintbrush, and then it'll just kind of tear away. And that's kind of better than, using like a scissors, because then that's more blunt. This is more frayed and just looks a little more natural. And then get the Mod Podge out, of course, and just apply a pretty good layer so it's pretty solid but not thick. And we're going to put the napkin on while this is still wet. And then you can just spread that out. It's very delicate at this point, so be very careful with it. I have seen some people use, put that down and then they'll use a little bit of wrapping, like food wrapping, saran wrap, and that'll kind of help. But I always think of it later. And then this, I'm just going by with just taking off little bits on the sides that are hanging out. And then I went along with more Mod Podge on my brush and just kind of added to it so there was nothing that wasn't adhered down. Now with this one, you could add, other things like ribbon or, sprigs. That'd be very cute, but I didn't think it needed it. I just loved it the way it was. Is that just sweet? A little squirrel having a little cup of coffee or cocoa. Like I said, I'll mention in my description box where I did buy this. The lady that sells them has the cutest napkins. All right, well, let's keep going. DIY number two. This is a photo, just a little photo thing. I found at Dollar Tree, a dollar and a quarter. And I just wanted to make it, a little more special. And so it had that little spot in there where you can put a picture. And I'm just putting in a little cardboard to fill in that hole. This is very sticky double-sided tape, and I'm using this along this whole thing. You could use glue if you want, but I do have good luck with this double-sided tape. I can list where that, you can get that too. I can maybe remember to put that in the description box, but just basically wrapping this like you would a gift, and adding tape in there and just taking your time, remembering that you want to, give it enough room to fold rather than, uh, you've got to fold it while it's closed. If you were to put it on there when it's open, it's going to be a little tight and it might not work. And so, make sure you fold that down when it's closed and then do your little snippets, and those will help you for doing those corners and using that tape and just going along and folding over the edges. And so they'll just kind of show you how I did all four corners and then just folding them up. And then in certain areas, you just got to trim them as needed just because it was going to run into where you'd put the picture. And I decided to use this one as a little recipe book. This could make a nice gift for someone, especially if you put some of your own special recipes in there. Someone would really love that. Okay, just holding and pressing. Not hard, just, a little time consuming. Okay, so now I've got it on the outside done. And now, that was ripped and everything. So I just wanted to get some coordinating paper and cover that. Again, I cut this. This is cardstock. Just kind of cut this down and put again more of that tape on there. Just place it on and press it into place. Nice. That could be personalized on the inside if you wanted to. I'm going to just show you. I already did this die cut. This is an old Stampin' Up! Die, and I just wanted to show you what you can do with the front of these. You can, find other little things for recipes. Whatever you'd like, you can put something cute on there. And there I've got some favorite recipes. You could make those recipe cards large so they fit in there just right because I believe those are probably a 4 by 6 and the recipe cards are a little smaller. Let's keep going. This is DIY number 3 already. Have you seen these little blocks at Dollar Tree? They have them. And so I have always wanted to do something with these little blocks. When I saw it, I was going, "Oh, this is great." And when you pick them up, they're not very heavy. They must be hollow on the inside. But what I wanted to show you is I just painted everything except one side because that's where I'm going to put some paper. But before I did that, I did want to dry brush it with a little bit of a gray. This is an elephant color in Waverly, and it's a chalk paint. Just get some on your brush, dry brush it. You could use brown if you liked, whatever you think. And it'll kind of match my paper that I picked. So I always kind of like the farmhouse look. Boy, would that be cute if you did it in red or green. Anything would work. Just go with what you think would work nice or work well for you. Okay, I've got them dry brushed, and here's the paper. See how well that'll work with that gray. And so just cut that down, and I ended up just using a glue stick to put those on. Those actually work pretty well when you're adhering glue and paper too. They work really good. So then it's a little bigger, and I did that on purpose. Let those sit aside, let that sit set aside, and then you can go ahead with this little hand sandpaper dealy bob. I think I bought that at Home Depot as well. And then you just sand it away, and then it gives it a nice, crisp, sharp edge. Now, these are called thickers, and pretty sure that was Joann's. I bought this. And I loved them because they kind of stick out a little bit. It's like a foam, and it's not just a flat sticker. And so I thought, oh, I could use these with a lot of things. And so I decided to make this into the word joy and went with the J and the Y. And I knew I wanted to put make an O out of this greenery. And so you just take a little piece and wind it around itself. And now I'm just going to glue it onto the block and hold in place till it's good and dry. And boy, it really needed a ribbon or something. And so I had some of this red ribbon and just made a little bow and put the glue gun on there and popped it on. And that really just adds a little something. Again, you could go and add a lot more to this, bells, and greenery and all that, but to me, I feel like this is adequate. It's pretty cute. Sometimes I see these where they'll tie all three of them together, and then you'd have a like a ribbon that go around all three and a bow on top. That would be cute as well. Hey, DIY number 4 already. This is fun. Okay, these are some foam balls. There's different types of foam. This is like they call it smooth foam, and I think that would be better than the ones that are more rough. And so I had the two sizes, and I'm going to make a snowman, but I wanted to make a base. And so I just had a lid from something just to make myself a nice circle and cut that out of some thicker cardstock, or I mean thicker cardboard. I had that glue gun, or I mean the glue stick already out, so decided to wedge that in between two pieces of white felt. And then that was kind of dry, and then I took the scissors, those scissors that kind of cut the little boy, it's skipping my mind, but you could use those scissors or just regular scissors. It does not matter. Pinking shears is what I'm trying to say. Okay, and then this is the bottom foam ball, and I want to put that onto that so it's got something to stick to. And so I did cut a little piece off the bottom. It didn't take much. And use a white glue or a Lean's glue, whatever. I used two glues to make sure that it wasn't going anywhere. A lot of times with that hot glue, that's your instant hold. That allows it to hold in place until the other type of glue can dry. And if you've got something to poke a hole, I happened to pick up this awl the other day at a craft store, and gonna just kind of use that, and it worked out great. And putting a toothpick in there, this is going to give it some stability, and so things aren't going to be rolling off. It'll once you get things glued into place, it'll stay there. Now, ideally, I wanted like an old glove or something just to kind of snip off a tip of a finger, on a glove and then use that as a hat. I had nothing like that. So here I'm coming up with, my own little version of a hat for this little snowman. And honestly, I had ordered some of these little tiny top hats for this. It was way, way, way too little. So I don't know. It didn't cost me very much. Sometimes you get things on Amazon and you get it back and think, "Oh, this is great." Well, I'm going to have to make some really tiny ones to make those work. Anyway, back to our crafting. I did put some fiber fill in there just to give it a little bit of bulk, and then just tying that off. And then I'm just going to trim it. And then you could add a little pom pom if you had it, or do what I did. And all I did was just make little snippets in there, and then it's kind of like your own little pom pom. Okay, hat is done, at least that much is. I didn't like how plain it was, so then I still had my white felt out and decided to give it a little brim. This would be cute if you had like the little fuzzy fur type stuff. That would be cute too. And just use my hot glue on there. Now with these foam balls being the smooth kind, I don't think they're as bad with that hot glue as if you were get the kind that's more porous. So it seemed to be just fine when I was putting that hot glue on the foam ball. These are just just pins that you'd use if with sewing. I did want to use them for eyes and a nose, and so I'm just trimming them down so you don't have it going out of the back of the head, and just putting those in there to make cute little eyes. Yeah, look at his little faces coming together. And you could draw on these. I decided I just wanted to try using like some, you know, it's embroidery floss just to see how well it would go. I have all that embroidery floss, and I just wanted to come up with something cuter and put some eyebrows on and a mouth. And I actually liked how it turned out. It was a lot of fussing because it kept wanting to, you know, stay on my tool. But eventually I got things to stay, and then it worked out pretty cute. And then there's another one of those pins. I decided I wanted, use it as the carrot nose. So I'm just dotting it in my acrylic paint to make it orange. And ideally it'd be best if you'd let that dry, but you'll see mine wasn't quite dry, but I'll show you. And I actually specifically bought some of this blush at Dollar Tree to use for my crafting to give them cute little rosy cheeks. I think the real blush just works nice on most things. And a Q-tip. Okay, here we go. I'm going to pop in that little nose, and I thought I'll just shimmy it in there, slide it in there. But I had to end up pushing it in. And when I did, I noted that the tip of that wasn't quite dry, and so some of the orange came off. No worries. I just ended up dotting up more of that acrylic paint and fixing it up. And anybody that watches my videos knows I like to give it a little shine, a little light in the eyes. It just brings it to life. Okay, and now I'm just adding on whatever a person wants. This is just a little ribbon with a cute little border on the edge of the ribbon. And I'm just going to make a little scarf with that. Sometimes people use pipe cleaners, and I just thought this would be cuter. So I went with ribbon. And then, of course, you want to have buttons. You could use, again, you could use those, the things that I use for the eyes, the little not needles, but pins. You could use those. I ended up having buttons, and I used those and just glued them on. And this is me putting on some glue because I want to shake on some very pretty um, glitter. It's kind of a clear iridescent glitter, and just to kind of give it a little snow look. And there is our cute little snowman. I really like how he turned out. And just this thought just came to me. You could use a toothpick to make another for the nose. Make it look like a carrot. It'd be poking straight out. Hey, let's keep going. DIY number 5. I like this torch paste because it goes, you use it on the wood and then it makes it look like it's been, you it's torched, like it makes it darker. So this is kind of a cute, funny little stencil that I have. And I just want to tell you kind of how this one worked out. Now, this stencil is just like a standard stencil, so it does have a little bit of depth to it. So when I put this in there, it filled in, and then it wasn't like flat. It was like there was a little bit of that torch paste that was raised. And then the directions are, let it sit for at least 3 minutes. You don't want to let it sit too long. You want to do it right away. And I've actually bought a nice heat gun to use for these projects now because I want to use this more. And your typical heat gun that you'd use for melting embossing powder, it's not strong enough. So you have to have one of these good old heat guns that they sell in the paint section of, Home Depot or whatever. Okay, so here I am, and you can see where it's kind of raised, and I'm just showing you how I scraped that off because it was really kind of starting to burn. I don't know what to say, but it was hot. And then as I took that off, then it was better because then it would be more, it was just better to make the whole thing burnt looking. You can kind of see what I did there. Yeah, and I just kind of decided, okay, I got to scrape that off and we'll just bring it down to the regular level there. And then it went really well. Now, my fire alarm in my house, that the ones you put on the ceiling, it went off, scared the dog. It could be because that was a brand new heat gun, because I could see there was like probably oil on there, when they put those together, and sometimes you got to run something and get that all burned off. Well, between that and this other, just the torch paste, it made it go off. So I ended up, when I did this one, I went outside. But this is using one of those Chocateur, they're like what do I want to say? They're thinner. It's got a slightly sticky back to it. And I know other companies make these. But the reason I went with this is because it would not put as much on there than a traditional plastic stencil. And so it definitely was thinner on there. And now I'm outside, and the dog is relieved that we're not doing this in the house. And she was nice, oh, this is great. I'll just go outside in the backyard and walk a little around a little bit while I heated this up. And she was kind of intrigued as to what I was doing here. Such a cute stencil, though. Silk screening, that's the word I was trying to come up with. Silk screening is a type of stencil that they use. And here they are. I thought they turned out really cute. And coffee, it's kind of like, oh, it's dirty a little bit. That's okay. It's kind of how it is. DIY number 6. Now this happens to be the last one I have. And since my craft room was still kind of stinky, I came out here where the fireplace is and just kind of assembled that just to show you how you would glue these together. We're going to make a little Christmas tree out of these little Jenga blocks that I picked up from Dollar Tree. Okay, easy peasy. I like to use a wood glue. Wood and wood glue is a great combination. I'm just showing you that little tiny bottle I have there, and it will stick so nicely. It makes it so nice and strong. Even on this part where you see it's not even hardly on there, it just stays. Let that set up, dry. Once you get everything assembled, you got to do this all in one step because you'll want to maneuver it around to make sure everything is how it is. Like I'm bringing those together, and then I put a little glue there and then just left it alone. All those little pieces where it comes together need glue. Okay, so now it's dry. And I have this pretty little book that I picked up through Amazon, just showing you a few of the pages. And that's it. I was like, oh, that's really cute. It's just kind of, whimsical and with that old style look, like from the 50s or whatever, or 40s even. So, okay, I want to make this and put this in this tree. People have been typically wrapping these little trees with some lights, but I wanted to do something different. And so I'm just going to take this and cut it out, and we're going to adhere this pretty little print onto our little frame. Okay, and so when you do that kind of stuff, it's always going to be just a little bigger. I used my glue. You could use Elmer's glue. You could use, whatever glue. It does not matter. It's pretty thin and it'll stick. So it went over a little bit. And so I got my little sander, hand sander. Um, I'll show you that little thing there. Yeah. Or you could use a nail file. Those work out great too. And just take off that paper so it's nice and trim and sharp edges. Paper looks great. And I was like, oh, it's got two cute sides. I decided I wanted to put a little star on this side, and these are Dollar Tree stars, a little package that I picked up, I don't know, a couple years ago. and I wanted to have some gold on it. And this is just an envelope that I had. And I'm just going to use a piece of that gold and put it right on there using that glue stick. And, same technique of sanding it off the extra paper. And just again using the wood glue to add those two pieces of wood together. Okay, so then I'm looking at it, and yes, this would be really cute. You could leave it alone, but I can't leave anything alone because I'm thinking, gosh, we want this colored or something. It needs a little more. So the first thing I did is I got just my little ink pads out. I went with a brown. Oh, didn't like that. So then I got a green one out, and I'll show you that. Adding some green, and then it's just looking more and more muddy. I just did not like it. So then I tried to sand it so it would maybe blend a little bit. Well, we're just going to get the paint out. And then it turned out really cute. And so I'm just showing you. I have been using these glass mats. You can get them pretty much, you can get them on Amazon as well. But if you find a glass mat, I'm going to recommend get one that has a magnetic back to it. It might cost a little bit, but when you're doing your projects, it might be nice to have, the magnetic feature to hold things down. The thing I like about it is look at I'm able to pick up that paint and just pop it right back into my jar and wipe it away. No more paper that's thrown in the garbage. I mean, yes, I have a wipe or paper that I'm going to throw away, but it's just so nice to work on those glass mats. And then here I'm going to finish this up with a little brown. Of course, there's just such a little bit, I didn't even need to put it on the glass. And it's done. What do you guys think? I thought it turned out pretty cute. This is my last project, but I want to tell you, I have got a lot of ideas for Christmas ornaments that I'm going to get started on. And we're going to put out a really nice Christmas ornament, DIY Christmas ornament video that you can do. So keep your eyes peeled for the new things coming out with Create with Amy 507. You guys take care, have a safe holiday time, and we will talk to you soon. All right, bye bye.